Because if we build our cities in the old way, how we've done that the last 150 years, the planet is not going to take it. We have a unique opportunity to do it differently. And we have to. We have no other choice. I am Vojtech Vosecky. I'm a circular economist. So I'm all about a world without waste, where resources flow in endless loops without losing quality. Just like in nature, there is no waste. And I believe that we need to bring those principles into the world of humans. How do we design our cities? How do we design our companies, products, supply chains, etc.? The biggest misconception is people think it's all about recycling and forget all the other things like rethinking, retaining, refurbishing, reducing, reusing, refilling. There's so many other exciting things that circular economy actually is. I think circular economy is about change. It's about change management inside organizations. And we, as sustainability professionals, are trained in, we understand renewables, we understand waste, we understand circular economy, but we are not trained to drive change inside big organizations that are reluctant to change by design. Circular economy has got to do everything with cities. Cities are at the heart of consumption. It's where about 70% of all the global world's resources are consumed. It's where 2/3 of CO2 emissions are generated. It's where most of the people will live. By 2050, there will be up to 7 billion people living in cities. And that's a lot of cities we need to build until then. We have about 25 years. And according to very simple math, every week from here on, the city the size of Vienna, about 2 million citizens, will be built somewhere around the world, not in Europe, but mostly in Africa or Asia. And if you think about it, it's not just about people that are flocking into these urban and suburban areas. They will need hospitals, shelter, food, transportation. And that all is not only about energy, but it's also about where do we get all the resources? Where do you get the sand, the glass, the steel, the aluminum, the food? And this is where circular economy comes in, because it's all about resources. It's all about working with what we have, with what we've already taken from the ground. It's all about not producing waste in the first place. It's all about retaining the flow of resources inside and around cities. A lot of cities have action plans, vision, piles of papers and strategies that never get implemented. So it just comes down to action. It's always tricky because I believe that, these big innovations in construction, in food, helped us to be where we are today. But, we've done a lot of mistakes, and what worked until now doesn't necessarily mean that it will work in the future. And we need to go back to the drawing board and design it differently. And some changes will happen because there's inspiration from nature that's been here for billions of years about, cooling down the buildings or exchanging air, or of course just using renewable energy, right, to power everything around us, all the way to super high-tech, large-scale technical developments that are connected to our post-industrial economies today. Well, I think the best way to get started is actually to start a circular team inside, because a lot of cities overlook that. They try to get up to speed without building capacities internally. So the number one step is to hire an expert inside. What's important as well is not to put that expert into the waste management departments, because that's where they usually end up. And that's repeating the same mistake we talked about, because, immediately it's municipal waste, it's recycling. Our circular economy expert will focus on that, on packaging and plastic straws and paper bags. Whereas that's just like a tiny fraction of what moves in and out from a city. And you need to give space to your teams and your experts to focus on construction, on mobility, on food, as well as municipal solid waste management. It all needs to come together. And if we do it right, I believe we have a bright future waiting for us on the other side.